Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to the show. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies of your view. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Mariam. Looking longer and grand. How are you?
Thank
I
you.
love. Please, could you? That's your arms. Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you. I've
I
worn
love
this
it. Yeah,
before.
I know, but
Yeah.
It's
I'm
always nice.
seeing it. Like I'm appreciating
Treating
it. I
you
would
better
say.
now.
Yes. How you doing, Mariam?
I'm doing fine. My concern is for these trucks that take people on top of them and travel from the south to the north and back. And I know every time we take stories of how accidents happen and they lose their lives, but they're leaving a state. So they're leaving the ports or wherever they're living with these people, and they're left to go, through
Going
these
to the
states.
highways.
Yes, and I'm wondering what we're doing. Is this just lip service? We're saying, oh, don't do it. Oh, we're sorry you've lost your lives. And then we're not taking steps to stop them from doing this. I know any conversation that comes up in Nigeria, we say, well, what other jobs do they have? But really, their lives is more important.
They also have a stake in this.
I
It's their
know,
lives.
but
So
we
as
should
much as
also
the
make it a
government
legislation, a
yeah,
policy.
you could do that, but
they
you can't
do
force.
that.
You can bring a man to the water. You can't force him to drink. So
No, you
yes, they will do
can't.
legislators.
You can.
You
If you
have
enforce laws.
You can enforce it, but sometimes these people actually
The
they beat
reason
the
why I'm even
laws.
saying it today, there were 4 trucks that went past me on my way to work, and they had many young boys, and they're just really young boys
boys, right.
sitting on top of these trucks. It's not
Okay,
right.
hopefully. So maybe we can get some enforcement. But any plans for the weekend, Mariam?
No plans for the no plans for the weekend. Well, my taekwondo, I'm back doing my taekwondo fully.
I fear you.
I'm excited about it, and I've been wondering, why did I leave it? Toko and I were talking about the feelings you get when you're working out.
Right.
When you're
That's
in a bad place, you feel
Yeah.
good. And then my taekwondo instructor was telling me that many parents have now decided to join. Before I used to be the only parent, so we'll drop our kids and the
leave.
parents will sit down.
Yeah.
But I was the only parent that used to join, and now I've
Yeah.
heard many of them have joined
fantastic.
as well. So
When it comes to
yay!
Nima. How you doing, Nima? Plans
I'm
for the
very well, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow, which is the World Hijab Day. There's going to be a procession.
Where?
From Maryland to Ojota, just raising awareness of the plight of us hijabites. People take for granted the things we suffer. And even on the show, I get such treatments. Get her off the show, take her hijab off, and that kind of thing. So we are humans and we are intelligent people. We should relate to us outside the cloth around our head, which is just an obedience of the rules of our faith that God has said we should be covered. So tomorrow, a coalition of women, all the Muslim groups, Form 1, Muslima, all of us, and the World Hijab Rights Advocacy Initiative are all joining hands together for this particular
I think that the fact
World
that
Hijab
you're
Day.
wearing hijab on this show for the
Speaks
past 4
volumes.
years already speaks enough advocacy
Exactly.
for the hijab, and the fact that it does not imprison you, it doesn't mean you're dull,
Totally.
doesn't mean that you are not vocal, you still have as much freedom.
Yeah.
Thanks
Yeah.
a bunch.
Totally,
I hope
totally.
people relate at home.
Yeah.
Please relate.
How you doing, Taboy?
That's a
I'm good. So I came back to Nigeria a week from today. Actually, immediately I landed, I came to the house and was watching the show. And when I traveled, I learned microblading and lash extensions. And yesterday, I got to do microblading, microshading for BC. When you go to school, deploying your skill outside school. So it's my first time doing on my own without supervision of my instructor looking me and saying, no, you should do this, no, you should do this. I was on my own.
How did
I
it
was
come out?
praying, Holy Spirit. It was beautiful.
I trust
It was
them.
very,
Some videos.
you saw
Well
some videos.
done,
It was
yeah.
like, it was,
Where did you
I felt so relieved and grateful to God that, okay, so we're getting there little by little, and I'm hopeful to do more work, because when you want to make money, but we don't realize that you need to learn, and you need to learn before you can earn. So this is the way of me learning so I can
Fantastic.
earn.
Well
I'm grateful
done,
to
well
God.
done.
And tomorrow I'm going to be a Woman of Destiny.
Yay.
Yeah, I'm going
What's
to be
that?
speaking about brand. It's Daystars Women of Women events,
Trust.
and I'm
Oh, I
speaking.
forgot. I think I wanted to give a shout out. I have to run, but I have to give a shout out to Union Bank. So Union Bank sent me this invitation for an event yesterday. Unfortunately, I got the invitation on the same day. I got it in the afternoon. The event was 5 p.m.
Oh.
I'm not giving them a shout out because of the invitation. I'm thanking them because the package the invitation came was a perfect project material for my children's project. Because when I converted that thing, if you
I
see
saw
our
it in
project,
school.
oh
I saw
my
your husband
Lord.
carrying food, and I was like, oh,
You
these
could-
all these parents that will make us.
If you see
feel
how
look bad.
beautiful my children's project is, just because of this Union Bank invitation, I would have to thank you, Union Bank. I couldn't make it, but at Please, that's your
You
box.
helped them.
Mwah.
It was a, it came
Before
in
we
time.
run perfect.
Before we go, in
Project.
Kiru's birthday, our makeup artist, today
happy
her birthday.
birthday.
Yes.
Thank you,
Long
Richie.
life
God
and
bless.
prosperity.
Yes.
On that note, we got to run. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the newspaper. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Right, let's start with The Nation. Presidency PDP clash over rising insecurity and governance. Senate probes $395 million refineries maintenance expenditure. Malibu, court orders Dan Etete's arrest. Payroll, government stops adamant ASU members' salaries. Amotekun has come to stay, says Makinde. Okay, let's start with the payroll. ASU, what's going on?
Yeah, so the
Lecturers?
lecturers are threatening that they would go on strike if they're not paid. So it's no work, no pay, no work. But the federal government, the Office of the Accountant General, has insisted that if you're not on that payroll, you would not get paid, even though the university is insisting that this is not necessary for them. And as they've said many times before, they're trying to make sure that you're not getting payments from just different, places like that. They're synchronizing everything and putting it under one heading. And
Fair.
and for
And
me, I
December-
think that's right.
December
So I
was
don't
the
understand why
deadline
they're-
initially, but now they extended it to January. So this month, today is the last day of the month. So if you're not on the IPPIS,
You
you
won't
don't
get
get
your
paid this
January
month.
salary.
Let's take the human interest about Lagos
Yes, the
market.
Lagos
that was shut
market.
down.
So the fire that started since Wednesday at Balogun market has not stopped.
For real?
Yes, and because of the activities, and you have all Lagos state officials, the CBD, the Central Business District Advisor to the governor, everybody speaking up and complaining about the uncooperative attitude of the market people. They have 45 kVA generators in their shops, on the floors of their businesses.
That whole
And so
market
this
needs
fire
it.
started from fueling a gen that was working without putting it off. And these rules that they keep giving them every time they shut their shops and they find a way to open it again, I think also is an indictment on the part of government on enforcement.
Exactly.
So if you lock somebody's shop and person opposite it again, you have to get the person arrested and prosecuted so that people will learn. But because they like cutting corners.
Billions are going down in that market.
Right.
Billions. And the government is making money. A lot should be done. We can't have a market that is generating that much money in such disarray. And they are powering tiny generators per building. No,
must we
need to
do business
more.
like this?
We need to do
I have
more.
not been to the Lagos Island market in that area for a while.
They tell you they have a proper
Yes,
building
now they have a proper
and they need
market.
to do some of the same things with
Now,
shop
because
for
it's so
empty, there's too
expensive.
many-
They can regulate. It takes a
Let them
do
There's
it.
so
Many
many
people
people.
on
It's not
this.
our hot topic,
Moving on
so
to
but
the
there's a
Punch.
whole lot that can be done.
Buhari Security Council Sean calls to fire service chiefs. 3 sentenced to death for Osun Bank robbery. Castina man chains and tortures wife for 10 months. Wives, actually, more than one. Coronavirus, Lagos quarantine Chinese returnees. WHO declares emergency. PDP looks into Umahi Danjuma's endorsement of Baseki. Can's 3-day prayer for Nigeria begins today. Banking hall queues return over ATM withdrawal limits. Okay, let's start with the...
the middle-aged man that changed his wife for 10 months. So his name is Sama'ila in Katsina State, and he's married to these women, Fatima and Hadiza, and they are 20 years old, each. Both of them are 20 years old, and he chained them. And when he chained, while they're chained, he would shave their pubic hair, cut their nails, make a concoction and force them to eat it. They bathe where they're chained. They answer the call of nature there. They dare not tell him that they're on their period because they'll get in trouble. He uses electric wires to beat them because one of the wives showed her back. And the only way they were able to find out was one of the mother-in-laws came to the house and wanted a sewing machine that she bought for her daughter, but the daughter wasn't using. And the man said she cannot take it. So the woman took the case to the police, and police came to the house to investigate what the problem was and found these women in that state. Thankfully, the women have been taken away from there and sort of rehabilitated. They also
let me
had
say
some
this,
counseling and
nobody
therapy.
saw
One
them.
of the
Nobody.
10
women,
months.
one of the women was married very, very underage because she'd been married for 10. So she'd been married
10 months. Then
10
the other
months.
one
Okay,
came
sorry.
10 weeks.
So sorry, my mind was saying 10 years. Because for me, with the torture, it made it seem longer.
Really sad
So she was married 10 months before the other was married, and she'd been like that for that long with him. I think that, beyond the police coming in, people living around. I was saying it at the CEO. You see this selfishness that we have brought with the walls that we have built, minding your business kind of thing. Just look and say something. Let the person seeing you say something know that at least this person will say it.
Oh,
you know why that could have,
why
that could have happened. You know, we have women in Prada, so you will not have them.
You don't have,
you don't have that kind of access.
Women to the women.
We have to move on, guys.
Sorry,
So the bank, I wanted to take the Osun robbery. Sorry.
Is it national papers?
No.
Because this is not similar.
So the 2016 Osun robbery that killed over 30 people, they have 3 of the suspects convicted now and sentenced to death by hanging, which is commendable.
So we was January this year started celebrating that the CBN has slashed rates for transactions within the bank, but now the banks have found another way. So they're protesting now, and queues are returning into the banking halls because when you try to withdraw from the ATM, you get dispensed 10,000 naira, and once you're done, you can't do more than 100,000 naira. When you try another bank, you get charged for this disbursement, so you need to get into the banking hall, and there are still multiple charges. And I think that the central bank needs to look into why the banks are doing this, which is deliberately making things difficult for you to withdraw with ATM because they can't make money from the kind of money they were making before the slash happened. Can we just have maybe consumer rights?
Can we even
CBN?
be people-centered?
Period.
You know, there's a queue everywhere.
People-centered. Moving on to Nigerian Tribune. Insecurity National Security Council meets, 6 states and local government support. Plateau killings, 22 victims get mass burial. Coronavirus now global health emergency, WHO declares. Malibu oil scam, court orders arrest of Atete. Amotekun shaping up well, says Makinde. Turnaround maintenance Senate to probe $396 million spent on refineries. Anxiety as Okada ban takes effect in Lagos tomorrow. Let's talk about the coronavirus. WHO has declared that it's a global emergency.
Yes, so this is supposed to be the highest alert that can be made by the UN. And this is to say that it's a global outbreak. And the reason why they do that is to show that there's human-to-human transfer. Right. And they show that a woman gave it to her husband. She traveled to China, gave it to her husband who is in America. And also at the back of that, our National Assembly is asking the federal government to make sure that all the people coming in from China self-isolate for 2 weeks before they join the rest of Nigerians.
And Abike Dabiri has also said that no Nigerian has yet contacted, even they've contacted Nigerians living in Wuhan, and they know that they are safe, and they've ensured that if they need to evacuate them, they'll be on standby to do that if necessary. Let's take the Plateau killings of
Yes, in Plateau State, we remember the killings that happened last week, and they were buried on Thursday, but also the governor had said he was going to arrest the community leaders as well as the Fulani headsmen, their counterparts, the Fulanis, the Ardos. And they met with the governor. Some of them were let go, but a few of them were taken to Abuja for further investigation. Although in Plateau State, people are not so happy with that. Some people are saying, why do you have to take them to Abuja to question them? What is wrong with Plateau State? It happened in Plateau State. Do the investigations there, that this has happened before, where you take them to Abuja, and before you know it, they come back and continue living their lives. Yes. So
I want to quickly talk about the turnaround maintenance. So the Senate is now going to probe the Jonathan administration for spending $396 million on turnaround maintenance within the period of 2013 and 2015 of all the refineries, and we still haven't seen them upstream. So functioning, they're supposed to produce fuel, produce gas, and produce all the things that are meant to produce, but they're not working, and we spend so much money on them. So we're waiting to see what the results will be, because really, we can't keep waiting for Dangote's refinery to go online before we.
And some of these monies could have been used before our budget.
And that's what we're waiting for, you know.
Everybody's waiting for Dangote. Everybody's waiting for Dangote.
I think the refineries are working, considering that the fires that have happened so far from vandalizing.
We have to run off. That's Daily Sun, Insecurity for FG 6 states and local government cooperation. Let's find a story we've not taken. You hear Dioha, Imo boils, thousands march against Supreme Court judgment. Okay, who's talking about federal government security?
Yeah, so yesterday, the National Security Council meeting was held, and because just after the lawmakers have been calling for a rejig of the security and sack of service chiefs, and the National Security Advisor, Babagana Monguno, called on local governments and state governments to partner with the federal government and cooperate with them to fight insecurity. Nothing exactly on what they are doing. They kept quiet on whether the service chiefs will be going or that they will be staying. But they said the president has talked about them. And these service chiefs have been there since 2015. So we usually, even if they are not going to sack them, some of them are due for retirement. They should look into that. They should look into motivation for the officers in the middle of this war.
And various groups have actually learned their words. Pandef, Ohane Zendibo, Afenifere, Khan, others have all said they've overstayed their time. It's time for you to let them go.
At least to bring this fresh strategy.
Is on, obviously.
Exactly, that's the word, strategy.
If the government,
because you see, Boko Haram, their style of attack has changed.
Yes.
In the past, it was religious houses and sensitizing against along religious lines. Now it's everybody that they're attacking. They've changed from this into kidnapping to banditry. They've disguised under all sorts of names. So please, we need to re-strategize our security. We can't continue like this. Let's keep increasing.
Unfortunately, that's all we can take from Front Page Review. When we return, we have to steal Lekpasho's bosse from Wake Up Nigeria because she's such a personality that you just have to have on your view. So when we come back, she's going to take the stage with us and we'll discuss all the topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So Nigerians were minding our business and a video went viral. Honorable member, Honorable Ado Doguwa, he tried to prove to his fellow lawmakers that he's a very powerful man. To demonstrate how powerful he is to his colleague, he said he brought his 4 wives. Yeah, come. He mentioned their names. Stand up. Now I said, can you see that I am both powerful at home and on the floor? He brought his 4 wives to the floor to prove this strength of power. Prowess. So this video went viral, and people started talking. How can a lawmaker, honorable member? In fact, he was being sworn in at the time. He was doing his swearing in into the ceremony, and he wanted to, and he was coming in for the I think this is his 4th time. So he's been there for 12 years. He's been there, he's been in the house for many years. And he came to demonstrate how powerful he was. So Nigerians are talking and saying that a man, a honorable member of the house, is saying he has 27 children and he's still counting. How responsible is this statement? In view of the fact that we have an emir who recently warned us that we are born children too much in this country. Let me hear your views. I mean, you can, what we have with us, Lekpasho's boss in the building. And we have to steal you for Wake Up Nigeria. Wait, Lekpashos cannot come to TVC and not come and join the ladies and talk. So thank you for joining us, Lekpashos.
Thank you for having me on Your View. It's always a pleasure.
Yes, good to have you. So you can call us on 070-8066-8014. You can also tweet us at TVC and please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Now, I'll start with Nima because Nima has always told us, wait, one, come more, follow more. So I'm going to start with you.
Don't put words in my mouth.
You were said, let me come to you. What are your thoughts on this
not
man that is still... Sorry?
Not irresponsibly.
Okay.
You can see that this person is not the average traditional Nigerian that you say, Makamofo. This is a lawmaker who's supposed to be on policies like population control and all that. And when you talk recklessly like this on the floor of the house to buttress a point, count your 4 wives, more stand up. Each woman, let's even share it between them.
Grade
6.7.
Okay, so I want to jump in here because I'm a very restless person. What is your issue here, all of you? Is it the 4 wives or the children?
No, wait.
All of the above.
Wait. Don't turn this into a princess and
it's not a princess. Please, is it the wives or the children?
So for me, I actually feel
Let me
that...
finish.
The only problem is because this person is a lawmaker in the chambers. You know that when they are making decisions like that, and these people are in the chambers, they will be debating and debating. They will not realize that Nigeria already, we are over 200, we are going to 200 estimated people, and they are the ones that know that these resources are not going around again. Now they are on the privileged side. They are the ones who get 2 million for Christmas and will not be enough. You understand? They are on the privileged side. They don't know the mathematics that those of us on the ground are doing.
It's okay.
No, Murayo.
No, you said it's probably because the lawmaker.
You know that the person that we buy on that's the person that will caution somebody when he's doing something wrong. It's not the person that will now be caught doing the same thing. The kind of person you want to see in paradise. You don't want to imagine wake up and see
so your issue now is because of his status.
Okay, as a lawmaker.
Abi his
Let me let
person.
him- let me let
Oh,
the point of view.
exposure and everything you expect of
So
him.
I feel that when we, I'm happy to see this video because it reveals the mindset of the quality of some of the leaders that we have in power. And of course, you are entitled to have as many wives and as many children as you can care for. That's that. Our society doesn't have any law.
You can care
you can
for.
care for. We don't have any law limiting the number of wives or children you can have now.
That's okay.
So, but when we have leaders coming to the floor, like, okay, it's a comic. I thought he was joking, like he was going to laugh about it, but it didn't look like he was joking about it.
It was not a comedy performance.
He was deliberately coming to say, I'm a powerful man and I have a right to do this, and this is a reason to show how powerful I am, which is why we cannot pass gender rights bill. We can't pass with this kind of people there. They are counting their wives as a possession to show how powerful they are. You can't have that kind of person stand up and say that don't marry off children, don't marry off children, don't marry off women. That kind of person will not say that
Gender equality.
a woman should go through and be educated to the highest level, because for him, I will marry you. Let's train our men to take good care of their wives, to show how powerful they are. So there are many corners and sides to this story that it doesn't look good. And then everything on social media now goes viral, and the developed world will look at us and laugh. Look at these people that they think they
So
are
he
going
says he's
forward.
still counting Mariam.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on this?
So for me, the best part of that video was when the speaker said to him, do you remember the story you told me about young children playing in front of your house? And then you said to them, go home, it's late. And then one of them looked at you and said, Papa, this is my house. Do you understand? So the children are so many, you don't even know all of them. So the thing is, we understand have children that you can care for, but they grow up in a country, in a community, in a society. Now, we talk about healthcare, education. We don't have enough schools. Those 27 children and other 27 children from different homes and communities are going to come and be dependent on the lean resources that Nigeria has or does not have. So that's the thing. We need to be more responsible when we take actions like that.
So,
you bring your 4 wives. First of all, I thought it was bring your wife day. So now that you explained he was being sworn in. And for me, it's, as Tope said, you know, there's this thing we are very careful to discuss when it has to do with the North. Because you're not Hausa, how dare you? You're not Muslim, how dare you? It's my culture, it's my religion. So anybody else that's speaking does not have the right to speak. But I'm happy that the Emir has gone ahead of us and spoken. So maybe now we can hold on his coattails and say to you people, please, we need to be responsible. The number of children that we have, so that we can take care of them. How many of them can you personally, as the father, you're just one father. Those ones are 4 mothers. Probably they'll be able to take care of it. But one father to 27 children, can he honestly say that you have a relationship with each, and with each child?
What are your thoughts?
Well, I feel that thinking that you can have 27 children and counting, it's very irresponsible. But like I asked, is it about the wives or about the children?
It's children.
Which one were you concerned about?
I was concerned about both.
Okay.
Because I have no problem with polygamy. I've never had a problem with polygamy, although my father married 1 wife. But the point is, he married them, he can take care of them. That's fine. The 27 children is what I have a problem with. And this is why. Now he is a man of authority. It will be time for him to get those children to jobs, into jobs, placements and all that. He has 27 children to worry about. Then those 27 children will get like civil service jobs and they want to help other people. They have 27 times 4 cousins to help. And then those 27 times 4 cousins now have 27 times
whatever it is, the multiplier effect.
And so what is the hope of the next door neighbor who has only 2 children or 3 children and their father does not have that position or that power?
The way we talk about the fact that leaders don't want to leave their position, they want to be there.
12
this man
years.
has been in the house
12 years.
Why not?
He refused to go. He needs his constituency. Yeah, he needs to be there because he has 27 children.
Yes,
he has
he
4
needs
wives
to stay there.
Why would he want to leave?
Alhaji
12 years.
Dan Doguwa is from the same state as the Emir of Kano. And the Emir of Kano, based on his exposure, even though he is in a polygamy, has been asking the people, we need to regulate marriages.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that somebody who is buoyant enough to carry responsibility is the person starting the responsibility. I would have loved that Alhaji Doguwa, being a lawmaker, was talking about how his wives were empowered, how they were career women, role model wives to other wives in Kano. Not that they will be wives to the general population of wives they used to do populated group marriage for, and that those people that's going on with small things, and they'll be giving. Kano is a very populated state, but you'll be shocked at the level of poverty there.
Oh, but you see, you're talking about a lawmaker now. You've not seen a Megad with 3 wives.
That's what Sanusi is talking about. That's what he's talking about.
So if your security guard sees his honorable member,
yes,
4 wives,
yes,
we don't have 2 heads. I can afford it.
He thinks that is entitlement as a man.
For we've had this conversation about regulating children, and I've stood on the ground that we should, as a nation, regulate the number of kids we can have, and I've gotten backlash on it in that our number is an advantage, really. Has our number been an advantage for us right now? Not really, because we have not harnessed this resource, this human resource that we have very well. So if we can dig further, I'd like to interview him and ask him what is his vision for his 27 children. Okay, he should even give me his vision for 10 of them, or even 5 of them. And how can it be? Because if he can take care of 27 of his own, I'd rather you have 7 instead of having 27, and then spend that resource of 20 to help your neighborhood that they don't have that much money.
Because we have not talked about, we're still talking about resources now. We have not talked about the mental state of those children, their emotional needs. We have not talked about when they need to talk to daddy about personal things. We have not talked about the issues that come up among the mothers. You know, these are salient things that nobody is still talking about.
That are recruiting these young people. Somebody was telling me the other time where they're telling us in primary schools, kids are being recruited into cultism
every day.
Primary school.
Every day.
And you think so? It's like we are raising these kids and giving them into that net to be captured. A lot of young people actually would prefer, because they feel that that's the easier way. Many of them are going into drugs in the north.
There's also in the south. There's also a side to this that we've not seen. So yes, you're one man. You're accessible. You're open to accessible to wealth and all that opportunities, and you're privileged. God forbid something happens tomorrow.
I keep
These
saying
your
that.
4
That's where I
wives.
was going.
Can they share the 27 well and cater for them?
I keep saying that. I
So
keep saying
we have to
that
run
because
up
no
on
matter
this.
how rich you
your power
are,
is not in the number. Those days is when you have farmland that you have power in the number.
We tend to see.
Let me make a point.
Yes. So I was going to go there too, which is when a man, we know how it is in our country, Nigeria, when a man passes, that's the end of
Everything
the
ends,
resources that comes into the house. Then we now have 4 women who will go off to get married. And go and give birth to.
Oh, they got to remarry again.
Of course.
They have to be married.
After 6
How would
years.
they survive?
So that is it.
Yeah.
We need to deal with the mindset of men feeling like, as long as I can financially provide for my household, I've done it. I'm a good man. Your responsibility to your family is beyond financial.
Yes.
You need to be there, present. You need to give moral support. You need to give financial support.
Okay, let's talk about homework.
Emotional
How many
support.
homeworks can you check?
The way he was talking, he didn't look like a
homework.
man that was there emotionally for those children, for his family. It's just, I'm there to, I
Anyway,
pay the bills, I
so,
can take care of them. I'm a
unfortunately, we have
powerful
to wrap
man.
up on this, but obviously Nigerians are not very happy about this video.
I'm not happy about
we feel
the video.
it doesn't come across as we have responsible
distasteful.
lawmakers. When somebody comes out casually talking about that he has 4 wives and 27 children and counting, it doesn't sound irresponsible at all. Unfortunately, that's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we'll talk about other interesting topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So, for those of you that have no idea the video we were talking about earlier, I'm going to show you this clip and then take a few tweets. Watch this.
I will let you know that with me today here are my 4 respected wives. Halim, stand up, please. 1. Uma, stand up. Binta, stand up. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I've asked them to rise here to respect the House on behalf of my family. And one other reason, to let you know that when members call me a powerful man, I'm not only powerful on the floor of the House, I am also powerful at home. These 4 wives, Mr. Speaker, what I meant by asking them to rise up is to demonstrate to members of the House that when you call me a powerful parliamentarian, I am not only powerful on the floor, I am also powerful at home. Because I deal with 4 wives. These 4 wives you are seeing, Mr. Speaker, have produced 27 children for me. These 4 wives you have seen have produced 27 kids for me, and I'm still counting.
Now I want to cry.
So the wives have produced. They are
They
manufacturing
are
companies.
producers. They are
They are
producers.
manufacturing companies, and they produced. Holy Spirit.
Ominani says,
Don't involve us.
that's the problem we have in this country.
Let's take to it.
Okay.
That's the problem we have in this country. I know a teacher in Castina having 4 wives and 52 children.
What?
The funny thing is, the men married women through substitution by elimination.
Emirate Generalissimo, sorry, the Honorable should be asked if he can even recognize his children. Some of the children would even look like neighbors to him. Away from just financial presence, can he monitor their activities as health, education, spirituality?
Chibuzo says, this leads me to ask the educational level of the senator. Personally, I think there's a gap in his education because he has just sent a bad message to the public. Umar Faza says this lawmaker is most likely using taxpayers' money to fund his family. Very unacceptable.
Nazif Wambai says Prophet Muhammad had 13 wives but only 7 children.
Yes.
Faji says there is nothing irresponsible about having 4 wives and 27 children as long as it is within his capacity. Fault him on not doing anything tangible for his constituency. Then we have Honorable Ademola says that we are not a serious country at all. If we have lawmakers like this representing the people in the National Assembly, National Assembly is a serious chamber and should not have people like this in the National Assembly we don't need comedians as leaders in our country.
Please
do not insult my profession.
So the problem for me is the privileged status this man is abusing. If Dangote had 27 children, if I had 37, me, Nima, I will not have problem with
thank you.
If he did have only 3 wives and I was single, I would consider number 4.
Exactly.
Because he's a man of means.
But you're asking?
No, I'm not asking. I'm very happy. But this man is just a politician. No industry, no shop, no...
And if he has industry,
no
he should tell us.
no manufacturing plants. Nothing. So what exactly are these children growing up to have? Those days when we popularized Makamofo, Lomo, those kind of things, my grandfather had 15 per wife. Yes. 15, and the ones that survived. So my grandmother alone, 15.
But you know what?
But they were farmers.
Yes.
They needed the hands to till the soil.
Yes.
So it was for a purpose. It was useful to expand family.
My worry, let me tell you what my worry. My worry is that we've passed this level. You see, Nigeria, we're at a stage where we need strategic growth. We need people thinking beyond, and people understanding ahead that we are overpopulated.
What will happen in 2050?
And how are we going to fend for these people?
Yes.
So we need leaders. So we're past that stage where we have leaders who just come and say, I am the community,
I am powerful in the chamber and powerful.
We need visionary leaders.
The 2020 plan. 2020 free health, 2020 this.
We are in 2020 now.
With leaders like Dogua,
we are in 2020.
What will happen for 2050 now?
And we are in 2020.
We have not done anything. Thank you. We are in 2020 now. The health plan does not cover all of us.
I have to wrap up on this, but we have to move on. We have other topics to talk about, but
it's
disheartening. It's disheartening, but hey,
you agreed.
That's who we voted in.
It's really
So
sad.
we voted them in. So guess what? The next elections, let's
probably
think.
will get another 4 years again.
Let's be sure we'll bring it into the house.
Topic.
Okay, moving on. A Ghanaian gospel artist took to her social media page to say, and I quote, "Many pastors are not happy in their own marriages. Don't take your marital problems to them."
That's
What do you think? So now we have the questions, Bosse, and I'm going to start with you on this. You can call us on 070-806-6804. You can also tweet us at TVC. Can I please hashtag your TVC so we can read your tweet. So this lady is saying that don't carry your problems to men of God. I don't want to only use pastors because they are imams that also counsel people.
The leaders.
why do we she's advising them, don't take your problems to them because they might have marital problems. Do you agree?
They have problems. I mean, they're human beings like everybody else. The fact that you have a spiritual calling does not make you immune to the realities of life. You know, they have problems. I have met those who have serious problems. Yeah,
and they are men of God.
I saw a clip from a video yesterday, a movie, and the lady was telling the guy that you don't satisfy me in bed. And the guy now said, why did you not agree to marry me? The girl said, because you are an all-round nice guy. You are amazing. You're good to talk to. You're a good company. You spend money. But you are not good in bed. It's just that simple. If I marry you, if I marry you, I'm going to cheat on you. You know, and she was saying it to him, and the guy couldn't get it. You know, and that's the reality. We see them in church. Sometimes when they are preaching in church, we think that they are telling you other people's stories. Sometimes it's their own story. You not see some pastor that will preach and preach and preach, then the wife will adjust herself in the chair and just herself. Then at a point, the pastor will say, "I'm also talking to myself."
But I want to say that the fact that our spiritual leaders have marital issues doesn't stop them or reduce their capacity to advise on marital issues, because you might not be a doctor, might have health issues, but be effective in treating a patient. So I might have that wisdom and the knowledge to be able to educate you on what to do, but I find it difficult to apply it in my life. A lot of our teachers are effective in teaching and giving knowledge. Their students would come out and become professors and become like executives and all of that, but they are unable to practice and take those principles and use it. It's not because they have issues. You can have a divorced person be a fantastic marriage counselor. It might be that the person's divorce makes them in a fantastic position to say, I've been there, I've gone through all of this, I know what you're seeing.
Generally in life, we see better from the outside. Generally. Okay. Check it out anywhere. It's easy. Go and meet that your friend that is having a bad marriage. Watch her talk to somebody else that is having a problem. Our advice will be clear, cut, direct. We see better, but we don't see ourselves.
Yes, but I have a problem really with spiritual leaders being the ones that advise us on things like marriages. And that's because sometimes I feel that they are not equipped for that. We have people who do that. Unless you have that experience, unless you have that training, then you should give it. Because a lot of marriages have, a lot of people have, done even, they've confided in pastors and leaders, and they have been misguided. Not that, not that the spiritual leaders meant to do harm, but because they lack that experience and that training to give you that sort of advice.
I'm sorry to barge in on you, but they have training. It's because we changed things in Nigeria, and people just wake up one morning and they decide they want to become pastors. I graduated from like 3 different Bible schools. There should be Bible schools where they teach these things. And I remember there's no Bible school I attended that did not have a course on marriage counseling, relationship, courtship, marriage, sex in marriage, sex before marriage, sex outside marriage, everything. They taught us with Bible scriptures. But people don't go. Even the psychology part, they taught us in Bible school. So many of them are not trained. So many of them are not trained. They just wake up, they lay hands on their son, and the headache in the boy goes away, and they open the church.
You open the kind of ones that are going to come. Let me come to you now.
I wanted to jump on top of saying that, they are better. They see these things, or a person that is going through something. Sometimes that person is in their own vulnerable emotional state, and then they give a vulnerable advice. Maybe your problem that you brought is the size of this mom. I'm dealing with my own, I've not solved it. I'm already dealing with my own, not the conclusion that I've been through it. Divorce is trying. It's a long process. I could be in that moment when I don't know, and I'll be giving you emotional advice that will completely destroy the cup. Maybe you wanted to just sit the cup right. That's the problem that you have. The solution I will give you will break it. So, see, what she was saying, the person that tweeted was, what she was talking about is, always seek professionals in their office, and they themselves are not infallible. It's just that because that's
their job, that's their training.
Exactly. Okay, I want this. The question was said something earlier that I want to happen, but I want us to conclude this one. So you have anything else to say on this?
Yes, please. I want to say that the fact that we have bad pastors that abuse it or let their personal emotional challenges they are going through influence their counseling does not stop the fact that they are pastors that are trained and contact the Holy Spirit to guide them in their counseling session. So we can't whitewash the spiritual leaders, because indeed many spiritual leaders have led to many marriages being intact till now.
Right. And many
While
spiritual leaders have led to the ones that broke.
Let me just make it specific.
And some are
May I make it specific?
Please
we have issues where people have gone on to batter each other because the spiritual leader has insisted that they live together.
There's a
Even
spiritual
though for
leader.
everybody else looking in, say you are not meant to be together, but because the Bible says that divorce, you keep
God
that
hates
person there.
divorce
Because
until
first
the
of
person
all,
dies.
that spiritual leader has to keep his allegiance is to the word of God or the Bible as he interprets it. But the thing is that reality happens, and sometimes you may have to advise someone to divorce, and the pastor will not want to bring himself to
A
do that.
spiritual leader in this country called on women and talked about divorce and, demeaned women. We took it as hot topic here. Fast forward a few years later, he was divorced from his wife. That day was on the pulpit. He was receiving from God or from his problems.
No, but because they are humans too, they are humans, and sometimes when they talk, they are talking also from their own personal experiences.
And the professional is not human.
Yeah.
No, but there's a training for that.
Yes. They have certain techniques that they use and apply. For those
Even the professional, sometimes when they advise you, they give you wrong advice.
You said something
too.
earlier that I want to go back to, because it's a different topic. But you said something about this young lady who said she couldn't marry the person because he was a perfect guy.
Yeah, perfect all-round right guy.
But she's saying that she can't marry him because he's not good in bed.
He doesn't satisfy
her.
her.
Is that an irresponsible conversation? I want to know. Is it right or is it wrong for her to say she can't marry him? You're the perfect guy. You have the TDH factor. You have a good job. You live in this beautiful house. You have a nice car.
But this
everything is perfect.
Aspect,
you are even a child of God. You even go to church. Everything is perfect. But this thing called sex you cannot do. Is that enough grounds to say you wouldn't marry? Stay with us. We'll be right back. We'll discuss that when we come back.
It's not responsible though.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to Your View.
So, thanks for staying with us. Before the break, I asked the question. The fact that the man you're in a relationship with is unable to perform in the other room, is that enough grounds to say you reject his marital proposal? And I'd like to start with Mariam.
Oh, Jesus. I think, you said the first question you asked, that's the one I'm going. If it's a responsible thing to do. And I think it's a responsible thing to have that conversation before you marry someone like that. And there's one particular episode that really opened my eyes that we had, where people would say that they're with their partner, and while they're on it, she would say to him, you're not even as good as. Please, don't bring that conversation at that point in your life, that conversation. So it is actually a responsible thing to do if it is important to you. But personally, I don't think that sex should trump everything. Because it comes and goes, it ebbs, sometimes you feel it, sometimes you don't. What is more important is that character. It's important to marry your friend. It's important to marry a responsible person, a hard-working person.
Because I want to also harp on that, because that person refused to marry. Is that the right thing?
She said she was scared that she was going to cheat. That does not mean that I agree with her.
Yeah, of course.
I'm just saying, I'm looking at it from, like she said, you need to discuss it. You can't just get married and then 2 years after you're now saying, I cheated because. No, you knew before you were going to cheat.
Okay.
No, well, for me.
Is that enough grounds?
No, I believe that, I believe it's enough grounds for conversation. I believe that conversation should take place. I don't think that a marriage shouldn't happen because of that. I also believe that it is over-experimenting that leads to this kind of conversation. So when you are, if you did not over-experiment, you don't have too much basis for comparison to the level where you do that. Now, intercourse between couples can be worked on professionally, and at any point,
which is why she's raising the issue now.
When you raise the issue, you seek professional help. They help you through what to do with all the experiments. You can have fun. It is a big deal because many marriages struggle because of this issue. So it's a big deal. However, it is not grounds to say we're not going to have this marriage or we're going to cheat. I think it's a ground for discussion and seeking professional help to get it dealt with.
I don't have anything to say.
A young woman is
you have
watching.
Something to say.
A young woman is watching this,
and she thinks sex is,
and she feels like, listen, because we all make sex as if it's this big deal. I mean, so the question is this such a big deal?
Oh, yeah,
We
because
need to be frank.
I
Yeah, we
have
need
a
to-
friend that sells herbs.
Yeah.
And more of her customers are the women, not
Married
the men.
ones.
Okay.
Married women buying herbs for their husbands. If it's not important to them, they will not be buying it.
So why are
It's
we
not the
acting
men.
as though...
It's not the men buying, no. It's not the men buying. It's the women buying. And it's not the women buying that they want to use it on themselves.
For
They are
their-
buying
for their
so their husbands can use, so that their husbands can satisfy them. If it is not important to those women, they will not be doing it.
So
this
the
is
question
not-
should be, should there be a school for teaching men how to do it properly?
It should, there should be a should there be
there
a
is a problem
school,
like
a
that? I did not know it was
training or
such a
something?
problem.
That's a good
That's
topic.
why I'm trying to drag us to where the issue is. Because
And then we can
this is
find
a
a
major
solution.
issue that we actually sweep under the carpet. A lot of Nigerian men don't understand this business, but they act like they do.
They are
have
arrogant about it.
Because
but half of them are clueless.
No, but because women, society has brought us up to rob the men's ego, and you don't complain about those things. You take it and you move
No,
on.
then you praise them again.
And you
You are a
praise them
man.
on it. So at the end of the day,
But
it now
you just said
involves
something
the
that-
quality of marriage you have. You have to discuss these issues. I don't think that we should just rob the man's ego and make him feel like you're good when you're not good.
But also we do that. On the one hand, you say that, but on the other hand, you say it's over-experimentation that causes it. Is the woman not there?
Let me let Nima
As a
jump in
woman,
here.
how are you feeling?
let Nima jump
There's
in
a
here.
feeling now. You're supposed
I
to
have
be
to go on a break.
satisfied.
Let me let Nima jump in here very
So
quickly.
based on what we know, everybody have said what they know. Based on what they know, what is the what me know? Is over experimenting that causes the problem. If you people start afresh, you will learn on each other. You will perfect each other's body. But if you
A
have
divorcee or a widow?
no, if you're a divorcee, you are experienced. You will learn on the
Okay,
same person.
that ship has sailed. That time has passed. Okay, the person has over-experimented. The
Exactly.
person has done everything. The
And
person
now
has
here.
now done a schedule. Now the person has
the
met
person
the
should
person.
seek
Exactly.
counseling.
Okay, let's go on a break. When we come back,
Because the man will not borrow neighbor's own
stay
to
with
buy
us. We'll be
herbs.
right back. Oh, I think I have Hassan. Hassan, are you still there? Hassan. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, please. Sorry, go ahead.
I have something to say. I have a lot to say.
Please, go ahead. You have the floor.
Yesterday,
Yes.
Morayo, you are very, very soft about this, your redeemed pastor. Very, very soft. All of you were very soft.
We are fasting.
Only
sir.
Obiajulu tried to be a kind of neutral, and I knew this behind the cloud discussion. All of you will come to the same conclusion. That's number one. Number two, about this issue of lawmaker today. You see this lawmaker, all around you, we can see, we are seeing you, you are not seeing us. You understand? All of you are against polygamy, excluding Lepasius Bosse.
Thank
over
you.
there. You understand? The whole issue is about that.
No,
You
it's
see,
not, it's about children.
and let us be very, very frank with ourselves. You see, where is marriage without sex satisfaction? Where is it? Where is marriage without sex? Because people, we are living in self-denial. I don't know why. Maybe you don't want to be seen, you don't want to discuss what is real. That is the underlying principle of marriage, about procreation and about you enjoying the sex. It is high time people talk about it, because I can see that all of you are trying to dodge it, trying to do
Alaji
this.
has
They are all married.
Alaji, we said
Married.
it now.
All married.
We said seek professional help.
Nima coming in.
On the polygamy, nobody has a problem with polygamy. Certainly not me. It's the over children you don't calculate, you don't plan.
27
And
accounting.
it is wrong for us Muslims to be the ones to throw out this narrative that we don't support planning because we are for polygamy, burning children anyhow. We've gone past that narrative. Regulating polygamy has started happening in the Islamic worlds.
Yeah.
We are seeing in secular country
Yes.
professing Islam, and we don't want to regulate polygamy. Where you marry one wife, you never feed them. You marry another one, you never feed them. It creates a problem into society. They will regulate polygamy. That's
Okay.
one.
All right.
That one is
Let me go on
different.
a break. When I come back, we'll try to wrap up on this. Stay
Oh,
with us.
that's
We'll be right
good.
we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So let's take a few tweets, Mariam.
No, I was responding
Yeah.
to Hassan.
Hassan.
So we finished
No,
with
you responded
polygamy.
to Hassan already.
No,
Yeah,
she
yeah.
didn't
We
conclude.
were talking on
He
the
wants
sex.
to talk about this, her sex
No,
part.
no, on the sex issue, because Hassan is also Muslim, and when he didn't have he had problem with the one of yesterday and things that everybody doesn't support polygamy. As much as sex is crucial to marriages, and I don't even want to joke about that, it's important that you start with your partner and know your partner. We cannot make it about experience, many places I have been.
This is a topic for another. This is a topic that we're going to deal with another day.
Okay.
Because we have very little time. I wanted us to advise that young lady that has refused to marry this man because of this one issue. You said it's a conversation you should have.
Yes.
But this person is adamant that I don't want to cheat on this man. That's why I decide. So my question therefore is that enough ground? No. Would you advise me and see cuckoo they go? Since you might actually cheat on him when you eventually marry.
Since you're a professional, you have experience, you know that it cannot satisfy you. Yes. You probably know the solution. Because you see, beyond sex are men who are crazy, beating you, slapping you, disrespecting you. There are tougher issues in life. Beyond that. Right. So that one single issue that you have even spotted, because you said the solution is when you know the problem.
Because she said it herself that he's an all-round nice guy.
Nice guy.
Now the only problem
you, what we are telling that woman now, because he's an all-round nice guy. Sex is an issue, but it's not that big of an issue. So since you are experienced, as you have said, you can actually assist him in getting to that level.
You know, some people have said that you're an all-round nice guy, but you are short. And we know that height makes no... it makes no sense. But sometimes when you're young, some of these things are important. You need someone older or with more experience to advise you and say
because in the long run, in another 5 years, it won't be an issue anymore. In 10 years' time, it won't be an issue anymore.
When I was growing up, short men, I mean, I don't do short. You can't even come close to me. You're short. But now, I see responsible. I mean, I know quite a few short men that are doing great work.
You're thinking.
And I realized that was so stupid. I mean, these are responsible men. So as you grow older and as you realize that a lot of things are not...
before you realize it.
He's a good father that wants
learn from people, listen to people, watch shows like
we have some tweets.
We have to run. Yes, take a few tweets.
Okay, so Dada Olo says, funny that good sex is verdict given by women that can also be very, very clueless. What's good sex anyway? When a woman achieves orgasm? Are we allowed to say that word? Yes. Sex? Okay. Then Samuel says, thank you, Alhaji. I love straight talkers. We are all in self-denial. Sex is very important in marriage. Simple.
That's a man that tweeted that. That's a man that tweeted that.
The solution to not being good in bed is learning. You will always be better on whatever you learn about and eliminate problems.
So somebody is asking about border closure. He's saying that it's 31st of January, we're still going to close border. Another person, Tony, says every pastor is a human being as every man, and for all we know, they have more problem and are clueless about the solutions you're seeking.
I have to run off. Like, what's yours? Anything you're working on very quickly? 2 seconds.
Absolutely nothing. I'm always working on my weight.
That's all we can take. Have a fabulous weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye for now.